Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Kripa, that's Krishna Prem Academy. It's our first, actually my first like class or whatever you call it, session. Before anything else, I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of our most worshipful Srila Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Srimad Bhaktivinoda Narayan Goswami Srila Gurudev, to our Rupa Guru Varga, and to all the devotees, our friends who are tuning in. So, just briefly, I maybe tell you about the format. This will not be a very long class. I know how much time everyone in this busy world. So, 10 to 15 minutes. Once a week, I'll try to speak some lessons from Harinama Cintamani. This is very important subject matter. Our root sadhan, or our main sadhan, is chanting Harinam. So there's very important tattvas that we have to understand. Our Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, he has written this book, Sri Harinama Cintamani. So I will not be reading the whole book, and you'll be all bored because I'll just be reading. But every week I'll try to highlight one or two special lessons from the book. So, and if you have any questions, you can ask, you can write in the comments, and in the next session, then we can touch upon that. So, this Sri Harinama Cintamani was written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. So I think it's very important that first we glorify Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. We all know our Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, he is considered the foremost Rupanuga. We pray for those who knows his pranam mantra. We pray him. He is the foremost Rupanuga. What's his pranam mantra? Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namini Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Variety. He's the Rupanuga variety. He's the foremost Rupanuga. And he is Gaura Shakti Swarup. To understand the personality, the Swarup of the Mahaprabhu, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, he's described as the Gaura Shakti Swarup. Really, the whole, this modern time, we are so indebted to this personality, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. He's considered as the Bhakti Bhagirat, because we know that during the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, all these teachings on Bhakti were kind of hidden. Even, what to speak of these teachings of Bhakti, even, the pastimes of Mahaprabhu and the place of Mahaprabhu's birthplace was unknown during that time. So, Srila Gurudev was telling us that, of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakura has so many gifts, but very important gifts he has given to this world. Two gifts that we will always remain indebted is one, Mayapur, the birthplace of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. By Bhaktivinoda Thakura's mercy, then now we know where is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. That, along with that, is knowing also the pastimes of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Because we know at that time, during the time of Mahaprabhu, the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakura, it is said that he could not even find a complete copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. It took him a while. Only when he became a district magistrate in Bengal that he found a copy. Now, a lot of the books of the Goswamis, now we are they're all available. But during the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they were all kind of hidden. So he was actually the first one to look, look through finding this. But he himself has written very important books. And we know, how we know all these pastime places of Mahaprabhu. He has written this Navadip Mahatmya. He has written Jaiva Dharma, this very important book. Actually, our philosophy is so vast, and this is one, one thing that we will always be in that Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He already collected all the nectar and put them all together, so it's easier for us to digest and learn, all these things. So without Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then it would be so impossible for us to really know exactly what is the Siddhanta of Mahaprabhu, all the real teachings of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why he is called foremost Rupanuga. Because really all these teachings of Mahaprabhu, where can we really trace it from? Who's really revealed it to this world? That's Rupa Gosvami, and our Goswamis. So anyhow, hopefully by our this weekly discussions, we will appreciate more and more glories of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is considered the Saptam Goswami, the seventh Goswami. Why? Because what the six Goswamis of Vrindavan have done, what is that? Actually, four things. We can classify them into four things. One is they discovered the pastime places of Sri Radha Krishna. Take note that during the time of Mahaprabhu, the pastimes of Radha Krishna are not being talked about. Everything was hidden. And this is actually what Mahaprabhu desired, that again Radha and Krishna's pastimes become popular. So no one's talking about Radha Krishna. Vrindavan, nobody even knows that Vrindavan, the glories of Vrindavan. They don't even know. Vrindavan was a forest. Now you come to Vrindavan, then just on the street, so many people, Radhe Radhe, everywhere you see Radha Krishna. How it all become like that? During the time, not a single temple, real temple of Radha Krishna is here in Vrindavan. Vrindavan was a forest. So it was our Goswamis who actually they wrote all these things about Radha Krishna. And when we say about Radha Krishna, actually we're talking about understanding this relationship between Radha and Krishna. The root mellow of this Madhurya Rasa, and this rasa in Braj, which is going beyond this this opulence mood. Mostly when you worship God, it's most out of reverence. So our Goswamis, they have revealed to this world what the Srimad Bhagavatam has revealed. That is really the glories of the Brijbasis, the glories of the Gopis, the glories of Srimati Radharani. And really, before that, no one really has revealed this. No one has understood the glories of this Bhakti Rasa. So, that's one. They have revealed to this world by their writings, pastimes of Radha Krishna and the glories of Vrindavan, the Braj, also teachings about bhakti, especially Bhakti Rasa. Then second is they discovered the pastime places. first they talk about Radha Krishna, but then now they're also showing that, oh, these things, these pastimes are happening here. So that's why if you come to Vrindavan now, like everyone knows, and it's not so difficult. People will tell you, oh, where's Sevakunj, where's Nidhuvan, like how we know all these things is because Goswamis discovered all these places. Now Kartik time, or like in any time of the year, like so many pilgrims coming to Vrindavan or in Braj and going to all these pastime places. So how they know all these pastime places? It's because of our Goswamis. So that's the second thing. They discovered these pastime places of Radha and Krishna. But then, to really help the people to have relationship with Radha and Krishna, then they also manifest deities, and that solidifies their, like a very personal, like relationship. One thing is just hearing and learning about these things, but then to begin actual relationship, then they manifest the deities of Radha and Krishna in this world. And so now, if you come to Vrindavan, you will see. It said Vrindavan is city of 5,000 temples. There's more than 5,000 temples. Before, not even a single temple. So now, then the fourth is, of course, they're teaching us how to have develop a relationship with Radha and Krishna. They're also teaching us like what are the proper etiquette, rules and regulation, and showing that this thing is not something cheap. So these four things. Now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what the Goswamis have done, by the 6 Goswamis have done together, alone he has done himself, especially with regards to pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Because we know, during that time, although it was Mahaprabhu who desired these things to be revealed, the glories of Radha and Krishna, at that time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's period, that's around 1800s. That time, no one even really understand the special glory or the real glory of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and the real teachings of Mahaprabhu. There's so many bogus so-called followers at the time, and they are misrepresenting Gaudiyas. So our Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also at that time, as I've said, no one knows even the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. Because, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in the year 1747, there was this big flood during the month of Bhadra. That's around August, the rainy season time. There was a big flood in Bengal, and that put this Mayapur underwater. And for about 100 years, the whole area was underwater and slowly rising up. During the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, again, Mayapur was up, but nobody knows anymore. That's around a few generations. Nobody knows where exactly Mahaprabhu's birthplace. So, anyhow, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and I know, you can read about this in this Navadvip Mahatmya. All the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, the pastime places. Who revealed all these things? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And also, who really simplified, meaning made all the teachings of the Goswamis very digestible. For the people in this Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is for people who are very less poor memory, fighting mood, terribly they have very bad qualities. So who's helping us to be able to absorb all these teachings? Bhaktivinoda Thakur has done so much, up to the point of writing songs even. By songs, you just sing this and automatically the moods that really this is what we are learning. Why we're like studying all these books? Really, that so we can absorb like the moods of the eternal associates of Radha Krishna, the eternal associates of Mahaprabhu. So in the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakura, then if it's just singing that, automatically one begins to absorb and like relish. Oh, so these are the moods of the devotees, and you begin to experience that. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has written so many books. Dasamula-tattva, Jaiva Dharma. Now, Harinama Cintamani is one of this very important book, especially because this deals with our main practice of like Harinam and understanding fully this tattva of Harinam. So this Harinama Cintamani is actually a conversation between Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, he is Namacharya. We know he is Namacharya, the Acharya or the teacher of the holy name. Mahaprabhu, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, all the teachings are actually coming from Mahaprabhu. But this is Mahaprabhu's way of, like distributing his gift. He uses his associates to teach. So like for example, who is, our philosophy can be divided or into three. As far as like to try to be able to like systematically understand and systematically like also teach to others. We can actually classify our philosophy according to three division. One is sambandha, and then abhidheya and prayojana. Sambandha deals with the question of like who am I, what is this world, who is God, what is the spiritual world, what's the relationship between all these things like that. What is Maya, like this. That deals with sambandha. And then there is abhidheya. Abhidheya means activities or what is the process. So now when you understand who you are, who is God, what is my identity, what is this world, when you begin to understand what is the relationship, my relationship to God or to this world, theoretically when you understand that, then you will have to engage in something, some practice. So you have to be engaged in the process, and that is abhidheya. And really our process is bhakti. So then the third is prayojana. Like if you're doing activities, then obviously you have set a goal. So very important is a discussion of understanding really what is the goal. So there can be, many so-called schools of religion or spirituality. But then you can look at according to these three things actually. What is their teaching on sambandha? What is their teaching on abhidheya and prayojana? Like this. So the Gaudiyas, followers of Mahaprabhu, we have very specific teachings. And this, as Gaudiyas, we have to learn. Now this is Krishna Prema Academy. So we have to learn exactly, okay, what is sambandha, what's abhidheya and prayojana? Now, our Sambandha Acharya, who knows? Sambandha Acharya is Sanatana Gosvami. And how is that? Because really, he was the one who Mahaprabhu gave all the teachings on Sambandha. For 2 months, Mahaprabhu was discussing with Sanatana Gosvami in Varanasi, all these things on Sambandha. From the question of who is the jiva, who am I, like this, up to the explanations of the different manifestations of Godhead, like this. So then So I'm just like giving some brief before we touch on like Harinama Cintamani. Um, so Sambandha, our Sambandha Acharya is Sanatana Gosvami. So Mahaprabhu is using Sanatana Gosvami to teach this, and most of his writings actually deals with this like focus on Sambandha. Then Abhidheya, our Abhidheya Acharya is Srila Rupa Goswami, because really Srila Rupa Goswami, it's really him who revealed everything about bhakti, from the definition of bhakti, which is really the most like perfect like definition of bhakti, up to like whole discussions of what are the different activities of bhakti, and to the stages of how this bhakti develops, like from Shraddha, then from Shraddha to Prem, then and not just up to there. He's giving all examples actually, like how this like this bhakti and all teachings, how this bhakti can develop and be nourished like this. So this is abhidheya. Now prayojana, the goal, we learn from our Guru Varga that the prayojana acharya is Raghunatha Das Gosvami, because really in the life of Raghunatha Das Gosvami, then we can learn, like we can see what is the highest perfection that a jiva can attain, and which is really our goal, like this. So we want, he is like the perfect example of how to be like the follower of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is teaching all these things about bhakti. Now in his life you can see him how he's following that, and within that he will see like what is really the goal that he's like focused, and what he has attained, like this. So he's the prayojana acharya. So we can see that Mahaprabhu has utilized like his associates. Also, where we can find all these teachings of Mahaprabhu, really we can find most of them in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So like for example, the teachings to Sanatana Gosvami, that is Sanatana-siksa. This is one of the most important like chapters in Chaitanya Charitamrita. As Gaudiya, as followers of Mahaprabhu, like we have to read, not just read, like really understand and hopefully be able to apply this. So there's Sanatana-siksa. Then for 10 days in Prayag, Mahaprabhu was giving instructions to Rupa Goswami about this bhakti. So this is abhidheya-tattva. So this you can also find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now as far as prayojana, a lot of this prayojana has been discussed in Raya-ramananda-samvad. In here, Mahaprabhu he's utilized his associate, Raya-ramananda, and if you really understand that, then you can really see the speciality of Mahaprabhu and really make comparison. In comparison to others like so-called paths, other so-called religious like spiritual paths, like what is really the goal, the highest goal, what is the standard of Mahaprabhu as far as like the gift that he's giving for the people to attain, like this. So now since this is not our topic, then we set it aside for like later on. But I'm just mentioning this to give the idea that this is Mahaprabhu's style. Like Gurudev said, he himself has, that was not, he has no time really to write all these things, all these teachings. He was busy, like he was just absorbed. He was jumping in the ocean. He's just crying and like that. But the Goswamis, they're the one writing and giving all these teachings. So, but when it comes to Nam Tattva, then we can see that Mahaprabhu is giving this in the charge of Haridas Thakur. And this we will have to appreciate in this book, the Harinama Cintamani, because here you can see how Srila Haridas Thakur is teaching, like very clearly, like all tattva, siddhanta on Nam, Harinam. And this is very important actually. So, maybe I'll just end here by saying, if you read the introduction of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because this Harinama Cintamani, this is written in Bengali. Actually, from the very first, the very first page of the book, the introduction of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, immediately Bhaktivinoda Thakur laid the rules like straight. It's like, who is qualified to study this book? He said that only those who have faith, then they can understand this book. And those who have faith that those who have faith in Mahaprabhu and Harinam, then they will be able to understand the book. And this is why later on you can see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was saying that in this book I have not written like so many like shlokas. I'm not trying to prove anything also by writing some point and then I have to prove with some shlokas like that. And really he said, because like I have already done that with other books. In his Jaiva Dharma and other books, he's quoting many Sanskrit shlokas. Here, he's not quoting any Sanskrit shlokas even. These are all it's actually like a song. It's like a poem all throughout. There are all these rhymes. And and it's describing what happened during conversation between Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur. So here, from here, we can get some idea. Like, if we want to understand, we want to study, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur has laid his things straight from the very beginning. He said, okay, you will have to have faith in Harinam and Mahaprabhu, and in this process of bhakti. So next class we can begin. Maybe also I'll speak a little bit on Haridas Thakur. Then we can begin. Every chapter, of course, so many. This is actually full of tattva. So as I've said in a class, we will just highlight little by little. We're like little babies, something to digest in a week. Little by little, important points. And hopefully, by the time you read, because, I'm here to encourage you. Okay, you read this book and somehow really understand fully. So that's why I'm creating this discussion. You will have to read the book. And also we're publishing soon this book. So, okay, we continue next week. If you have any questions or suggestions on the format, then you can write in the comment section, and then we can talk about that in the next class. Okay. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe.